Welcome to the Lose Your Big Ass Stomach podcast. I'm your host, Jay Jackson, and my mission here is to help you get rid of that big ass stomach and take back control of your health so that you can look and feel your best by being the best version of yourself, mentally and physically, while destroying the mediocre agenda society is trying to brainwash you into, and breaking our families' generational curses of being unhealthy by being a healthy and fit role model. It's time to set a new standard. It's time to set a new standard of living. If you find the podcast helpful, be sure to hit that follow button because that helps us build a movement. Let's go.
Guys, over the weekend, I was looking at a Netflix movie, and it was called Mr. Harrigan's Phone. It was about this billionaire. He had hired a young guy. He was a kid, actually. It was kind of awkward. But he hired this young kid to come in and read him books on a daily basis. And this kid read Mr. Harrigan books for years. Like all the way until this guy was like in his, getting ready to go to college. And as the guy was getting ready to go to college, Mr. Harrigan ended up passing away. He was a billionaire, super old. And when they did the autopsy about what caused him to pass away, it was actually a really good movie, by the way. But when they did the autopsy, Mr. Harrigan had heart disease. And so I want to do a little bit of research on it. As I always talk about a lot, I'm big on researching, just wanting to understand how things work, why things happen a certain way. And I came to realize heart disease is actually one of the number one killers in America. Outside of strokes, outside of cancer, heart disease is number one. Okay. A lot of people who are very busy professionals, live very demanding careers. I understand how we can, really get caught up into just like executing on a daily basis, putting off exercise because it's like, man, my day's so busy. Let me get some fast food because I don't have time to cook. These are types of things I hear a lot of the type of people who I help saying, they're just really busy. And so they seek convenience, over, meal prepping, exercising. But at the same time, if you're noticing that you're having issues like brain fog, you're noticing that you have issues like tight chest, chest pains, things like that, excess weight gain, even though you may be eating healthy, but you're noticing that it's really hard for you to lose weight. These are the types of symptoms. This is how heart disease shows up in people's life. Because most times it's when people are getting older, when people get heart disease, because they're really sedentary. They're not moving as much as, folks when they're in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. But nowadays, because of people's lifestyle of being sedentary, working all day, sitting at the desk for long hours, doing calls, closing deals for long hours at a time, we're not as active. All right. There's a lot of people who are not as active. They don't live that lifestyle of moving as much. Plus, on top of that, the excess weight gain also doesn't help at all when it comes to heart disease. Okay. And then the food that we're eating also doesn't help either. If you're eating a lot of fast food, that lets me know you're eating a lot of processed food. Okay. And so what I want to do is share a couple of different things that you want to start doing. That way you can prolong your health and not have to stress and worry about things like heart disease, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, okay, type 2 diabetes. All these things are lifestyle related. Those are the commonalities between these different diseases, okay, and they can be overcome. All right, some things can somewhat be genetic and how can I say this? Just inherited from your family, but at the same time, you can actually be proactive in being able to avoid these things by the way your lifestyle is. Okay, if you want to excel in your career, you want to be a role model for the people that you love and care about, your kids, your family. You have to be healthy. You have to be fit inside and out. Okay, and so these are the types of things I teach my coaching clients. One of my clients named Ann, who reached out to me a little over a year ago. Now she's down over 100 pounds. But at that time, not only was she overweight, but she had a lot of medications that she was on. She was having a lot of aches and pains. Being over 100 plus pounds over, of course, you're going to be dealing with high blood pressure. Of course, you're going to be dealing with sleep apnea, probably aches and pains from all the weight gain too. And so over the course of the years, as she dropped more and more weight, we actually did a client success story video on YouTube, and she was just talking about how much medication she was able to come off of. And make no mistake, guys, if you're dealing with high blood pressure, you're dealing with things like your triglyceride and your cholesterol being extremely high, these are the types of things that cause heart disease, because of the plaque buildup in our arteries, okay? And that plaque can also build up in our heart, which makes our heart not perform at the rate that it needs to give us oxygen to our brain, which you end up getting brain fog all the time. You can't focus and have be mentally sharp as you might want to, because the poor quality of your heart, because of the quality of the foods we've been eating, because of the lack of exercise and activity. And so the first mental shift I want y'all to think about is, and that I taught Ann, is that you have to stop looking at food as a way of just like pleasure and convenience. You have to start looking at food as there's value-based food that are going to give you energy, that are going to allow you to be healthy, that are going to allow for you to lose weight. And then there's food where, it's more pleasure-based, more convenience, fast food, photos, you want to be happy about what you see. You want your clothes to fit well. You have to have structure with your eating habits. You have to have structure with your lifestyle habits. I'm not talking about hitting the gym like a... Develop awareness. And so whether you go to the doctor... Jesus, internet signal is terrible right now. But whether you go to the doctor and get your blood pressure checked, or if you go to somewhere like a Walgreens or CVS to get your blood pressure checked, you want to do this on a weekly or monthly basis. Okay, you want to strive to be right around like 120/80 or better. Okay, you don't want to be like 140/90 or 140/100 or something. That's terrible. That's no good. Okay, this is how people end up having high blood pressure, and then they're going from high blood pressure to having kidney issues. And a lot of people think about, I was talking to a guy the other day, he's been on high blood pressure for like 15, 20 years. And he was talking about how he's been on these medications, and the doctors have been telling him, dude, he has a kidney disease now. And, if he doesn't start to make changes, because most people think that the medications solve the problem. The medications just mask the problem. But if your weight is constantly getting worse, guys, if you're not taking care of your health, it gets worse. And so that's what happened to this guy. He was taking the medications and was still living the life that he wanted to live, eating junk food, drinking lemonades and drinking sodas. Now he has heart disease. Now he doesn't just have high blood pressure. Now he has heart disease, and the doctors are talking about him having to be on dialysis soon if he doesn't make lifestyle changes. And he also has sleep apnea, talking about he's tired of, being on a CPAP machine. These are the types of things that happen when you live a sedentary lifestyle, not being active with structure when you hit the gym. Because I know some of you guys are actually trying. All right, ladies and gents, y'all are trying. But if you notice that you've been working out, but the weight isn't coming off. If you notice you've been eating clean, but the weight isn't coming off. Guys, you got to change something up. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting the same results. And so develop some structure, okay? Develop some structure. And then the second thing you want to do is develop awareness around that structure. Meaning, I talk to a lot of people, they don't even step on the scale. They don't even take their blood pressure. How do you know if things are progressing or getting better or not, or getting worse? It's like the people who never want to look at their bank account. How do you know if your bank account is getting better or worse if you never look? Yeah, I know it can feel painful, to look at things where it makes you uncomfortable, but you have to be willing to do it. Otherwise, these things show up as you looking at photos of yourself with other people and your colleagues and your family like, man, I don't like looking at myself in photos anymore. I was talking to a young lady the other day. She didn't want to go to church anymore because she felt like she just was so uncomfortable with how she looked. She didn't want anybody else to see her. It's no good. These are symptoms of a bigger problem. The problem being, you have to be willing to make changes to your habits. The problems being, you have to be willing to make changes to having more structure, the way you're thinking about things. You don't have to live like a bodybuilder. You don't have to do those things. You just have to have structure with habits, eating habits, exercise habits that fit your life. Okay? If you can only work out 2-3 days a week or 3-4 days a week, that's all you need, guys. I have coaching clients inside my high-level coaching program. They're working out 3-4 days a week. I give them a lifestyle-based nutrition plan where I show them the balance of how to eat foods they prefer to eat, but also having structure on their portions. That way they can lose weight. You know, they have structure on frequency, meal timing, things like that throughout the day. That way they're losing weight, but also have energy. They have mental focus. We're regulating their blood sugar. They're not, just losing weight, but they feel good on a daily basis. I'm giving them lifestyle-based training routines, so that way they can hit the gym at whatever time of the day they can work out. They have structure on what steps to take when they hit the gym. They're not guessing, That way they're not wasting time. And they have that confidence knowing that what they're doing is working. They're headed in the right direction, okay? And so it's very, very important that you have this structure and you have that awareness. Last thing is this. You have to commit to yourself that you're going to take care of yourself. You have to make that commitment. I know some people who follow me, they look for motivation. But the type of people I help, they don't need motivation. They need structure. And when it comes to having structure, when I think about structure, it's what are the routines and habits that you have in your life to perform at a high level? If you've been thriving in your career, more than likely you've been doing well in your career. If you've been doing well with your family, things look great. You have the evidence to show that you're successful. But you feel like you're losing with your health. You feel like you're losing with your weight. You have the traits to show that you can be successful because you had the structure within in your career. You had the structure within your family. Now you have to develop structure to perform at a high level with your health and your weight. That's what most of you guys are missing, okay? You're not the type of person who needs somebody to coddle you or baby you or run and chase you and find you when you're hiding. You're not that type of person. You're the type of person who needs structure. You're the type of person who needs accountability. You're the type of person who needs that support. That way you can stay on the right track. And the folks who just always believe in the motivation, their life is always going to ebb and flow with results and lack of results because they're dealing in motivation. That's not how life works, guys. There's plenty of days where I don't feel like or I'm not motivated to do a podcast. I'm not motivated to create content. I don't think about motivation. It's the structure. That's why I'm still able to perform and do these things on a daily basis. Because I have structure around, okay, here's the topic, here's the touch points I'm going to talk about, here's the stories I'm going to share, here's the information I want to give. And as long as I have that habit of making sure I have preparation and structure before I do these podcasts, before I do these lives, I'm able to perform at a high level, regardless to how I feel. And I'm pretty sure you guys know, if you identify as being a high performer, a high-level professional, a high achiever, it ain't about motivation. It's about having a game plan. And so once you have these things, guys, this is how you never have to worry about health issues like heart disease. You never have to worry about things like high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, sleep apnea. It's structure. It's habits. It's routine. It's you thinking differently about yourself, wanting to take care of you. Okay? Once you get these things, guys, I'm telling you, this is how you excel, not just in your personal life, but also in your professional life. Because, I know you want to do more. I know you're the type of person who wants to continue to evolve and progress in life. But for you to continue to evolve and progress, you have to continue to improve your health. You have to have the physical and mental capacity to want to do more. But it's hard to have that, confidence and capacity if your health ain't on point, if you don't have energy, and you're overweight. Because being overweight, that extra weight makes us tired. So we don't have the capacity or feeling that we can produce more. Okay? This is how you get to the next level. Start taking care of you. If you found this helpful, be sure to leave a review. All right? But anyway, we out of here. Let's get it.
Yo, appreciate you for tapping in and listening to the podcast episode today. Hopefully you found it valuable, and if you did and you want to learn more about how I can help you lose the big ass stomach, transform your body, and get your health on point, DM me real results over on Instagram at JJacksonOfficial for more information. And I'll reach back out to you to do what I can to help you hit those health and fitness goals. Let's get it.